All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Reader. So I thought a good way to start the year would be looking at the FAANG and blue chip stocks. I've said it often, does not matter if you really have no money, if you have money in one of these, you really should look at all of these because a number of these are either in one or multiple major markets, right? The Dow, the S&P, the NASDAQ, right? And if these are going to do bad, the markets are going to do bad, right? But if these can actually do well, it could really lift the markets, right? So keep an eye on these even if you don't have them, right? So what are we going to do today? Same thing we always do, right? We're going to look at the daily and the weekly to see how things are setting up. We have our 5 moving averages, these horizontal support and resistance lines that I do manually draw, and then we have the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. So real quick before I get started, I have not talked about my website in a really long time. It's chartreaders.com. This is my catchphrase. I kind of love it, I'll be honest. If you scroll to the bottom, you can sign up for a very free weekly email, okay? I'm gonna make this more of a priority. I wasn't the best last year, just making these videos was kind of the goal, right? But hey, if you sign up for these, I will give you, a couple extra thoughts that I don't get to put on these videos, maybe like a recap. I have plans to do it well, so check it out if you have not already. So let's get into it. I gotta say, first off, this obviously looks very bullish, right? There's a number of things I love seeing. We'll talk about the moving averages. Things down here look good. I really want to quickly show just what this thing looked like, right? So this is the perfect zoom. There was a hard gap fill, right? And I always say it, right? If there's red, 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 or if there's literally a gap like this, very quickly they fill, right? I really wanted this one to go like this. And if you watched the last video, I don't remember when it was, but I said the exact same thing. I wanted this to be a much harder fill. Instead, it made a real nice jump, went horizontal, but during that whole horizontal, it actually kind of maintained an upward horizontal, which is beautiful, right? It was on the low side of this channel, then basically the high side of this channel, and then now you can see what's currently happened, right? So we get one good day of breaking 2 lines. This is a good second day, right? I know it barely looks it, but we actually do. So look, this Thursday closed at 120.26. This one closed at 120.34. It did close above this candle, right? That's good. Obviously, I wish it closed a little higher. Don't get me wrong, but I'm glad it closed higher, and I'm glad it wasn't a doji or anything silly like that, right? It was a good full candle. People kept buying for most of the day, and what that translated to was a nice gap fill the next day, right? And then just one more thing. This is also why I love moving averages, right? You try to break the 50, you can't. You use the 20 as a bounce, can't get over the 8. 20 as a bounce, get over both. 20 as a bounce, bounce, right? And that's why we like these moving averages, right? My horizontal lines are stagnant. They don't move anywhere besides this, right? You use these moving lines as you're moving support and resistance, right? But right now, I mean, this is really a nice gap up. We did just break this line. There's a lot of reason to believe that we're coming to 132, right? And look, sorry to zoom in and out so much, but MACD is looking really nice. RSI is looking really nice. Again, green's been over it the whole time, and this kind of looks, I'm zooming in more, but it looks like we're gaining even more separation, right? And it looks like a little bit more separation than there, though it's probably kind of roughly the same. I like that volume's increasing, but we need to get up here, right? And maybe tomorrow's the day, but if you can break the 50 moving average in volume, that's where you get big percentages up or down, obviously if it's a buy or sell, right? But yeah, overall, literally everything is good, and that's what we want to see, right? Check mark up here, we're over the lines, check mark up here, check mark up here. I wouldn't call this a check plus, but yeah, hey, I'll take the 3 days with the increase, from the last ones, right? So meta on the daily looks good. Honestly, let's do this, right? Again, this is by no means an intention to buy, but it's definitely an intention to know, hey, let me know if this happened. If we're literally a couple cents over, I want to know. Let me know that in the morning, please. Alert created, and again, we'll act accordingly. What does the weekly look like? Look at this, right? A number of weeks over the 8. What does that mean? You're gonna have a number of really good days, right? And that's what that has translated to, right? So I always stress it, right? Look at the weekly so you know what to expect from your daily. But yeah, we continue to be over the 8, and we're now, like you saw, we're over this line, right? So hopefully, what's this number? So 127, okay? And then this number was 130 something, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah. So 127 might be a bit of a, and look, it's pretty much the bottom of that candle right there. So 127 might be a resistance. Nonetheless, I think the fact that it's on the daily right here, I'd still lean towards this 132 being where it might get stopped, right? But hey, if it breaks this, this would be the next place, right? The 141, basically the top of this. And another thing that I do like is just kind of filling downtrends, right? So yeah, there's a lot of positivity here on the daily. And look, if this thing can break that 127 we just talked about, red should be really easy to fill. And I just talked about 140 on the daily. This one kind of says 170, right? So hey, maybe even this 160 line up here. Meta, a beautiful chart. Hopefully the rest of the FAANG stocks look like this, and we'll go from there. AAPL is Apple. Okay. Oh my goodness, this is the very opposite of the Meta chart, okay? So the first thing that's telling me is one of two things. Either Meta is an anomaly, or hey, maybe we're gonna get 2 out of 5, 3 out of 5, and kind of have a mixed bag in these FAANG ones, right? But look, what's happening in Apple? A whole lot of trading under the 8, okay? This one wanted to start over the 8. It actually did. It opened above the 8 right here, right? Yeah, it opened at 130.21, and the 8 was obviously at 2 cents. So it opened to roughly 20 cents over the 8, but then just a horrible drop, literally to the line, almost to the penny, right? Basically set, I'm not going to do the math right there, but about 10 cents over our line, right? So what does that say to me? I'm probably going to, it'll be easier to see it on the weekly. Oh man, that's a hard fall. 116 seems realistic, and let's be on. Oh, sorry, zoom. That was really bad. Sorry about that. 116 is really close enough. I would almost ignore 116 and look at 114.15, right, which is this 200 moving average line. I think there's a lot of reason to believe that this is kind of coming down here. And look, it's interesting, right? The MACD is definitely looking really bad, and the RSI is definitely looking just flat, right? So I'm going to now keep that in mind and maybe lean a little bit more on the MACD, at least for Apple, maybe even a couple other ones, right? But yeah, the MACD is really telling the better story here. And obviously volume is saying a real big story here, right? It's funny because I always say you need real big volume for bad things to happen. This little volume, this literally, it makes it look like Apple is some insignificant penny stock, right? When you look at the rest of the days of buying, made a pretty big candle, right? So as important as a lot of buying is, when you end up having no volume and you become an insignificant stock, and obviously 92 million is so much for like an EVgo or some of the other ones, no offense to EVgo, right? But yeah, this little bit is this 92 million is seriously just a little bit when you're used to 400 million, right? So just keep that in mind, right? But yeah, again, right now, the weekly is screaming we're coming down to 114. Let me just zoom out on the daily to see what the daily does look like. Sorry, so much zooming. Damn. Okay, so where are we? Yeah, nothing too hard. It doesn't really look like there's much of a wild gap, right? But look, there's definitely a downtrend there and a downtrend there. So I don't know if we're gonna fill this up really quickly with down. Now, I'd be real careful that this $10 window could break really quickly, because I mean, this is here. Are we lower than this? We're not. So this RSI has been as low as 15 not that long ago, and actually looks like it hit 16 actually only a couple months ago. So the fact that we're at 22, I mean, I know that's sub 30, but it looks like Apple is not done yet. This one does not look good. Again, Meta still looks good, and I think there's a little bit of focus on Amazon here as we look at the third one. Okay, I like this. So it gives me a little bit more positivity about Meta, starting off with that. But look, let me just zoom out, right? I've said it a number of times. You know, rule number one is get over the 8 moving average, right? However, when the drop gets so bad, I actually sometimes don't even touch it until it breaks the 20, okay? And this stock has had a little, I guess you can keep zooming out. Dang, it's really been since August. So look, right here, we lose both the 8 and the 20. We try to break the 20 once, we fail. We test it, don't break it. We actually get a good break, a run up here, and then another hard fall, right? Test, kind of, but no good confirmation. Never even really close above it. And again, so this 20 has been difficult, okay? We've also seen a couple good upward curves. This seems like a nicer upward curve, but so did this, right? And it still couldn't do it. So I still want to break this 20. I'm going to set an alert. Wait, is that too close to the 20? What's this thing at? Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, we'll set the alert right there. That's a little higher than my last one. Let's bring this down to 20. So I'm going to set the alert at 87.20. Okay, that'll basically put me a little closer to it than ideal, but hey, whatever. We're at least there, right? One more time, I say it often, right? The doji. The day after the doji matters a lot, okay? It'll kind of tell you the truth, right? Hopefully it's a good full candle and there's no, there could be a second doji, right? But yeah, this was uncertainty. People were not sure if it was ready to break the 20. People were not sure if it was ready to lose the 8 and keep going down, right? And I think the fact that Apple was bad but Meta was good, you can see why this is a little bit uncertain, right? But I'll take this as positive. Obviously, I want to break the 20. I like that the MACD is up. It's negative, right? So I wish this was positive, but hey, I'll take the up. Again, this is super tight, but I still see green on it. I'll take it. And hey, it's a little choppier than ideal, but look, volume has been going up all 3 days. This one was green. Hopefully we can break the average tomorrow and that'll get us over the line, right? So Amazon is at 85. I know coming to, oh man, this is not a good weekly. All right, so hey, maybe we can make a run up to 89, give or take. Will we be able to break 89? I'm actually not too sure because look, we've had one test. Maybe this will be the second test. I mean, look, I'm not trying to say things happen in 3s or 5, but you kind of see that like the third test ends up being pretty good, and then you'll fail at the 4th time, and then the 5th test becomes really good, right? So just those are my back pocket numbers, and I could see this being a 1, a fake, we'll wait for the 3rd, right? And what does that just mean? Look, that might mean there could be a couple good things on the daily, but will it be sustainable? That's not a sustainable weekly chart at all, right? So Meta still looks okay in my head, a little shaky given that the last 2 weren't as beautiful. I don't know what else to call it. All right, Netflix. What does Netflix look like? So I'm going to zoom out here a bit too. Netflix had its own little gap fill here, and I don't want to say little. Oh, sorry, too much. That's a nice little gap fill, right? And we've been tracking this line. It finally broke it, and then a lot like Facebook, it went like horizontal upward, right? There was never a big rocket that did it, and it went wildly parabolic. Actually, it was a lot weirder than I actually expected it to be. Where are we sitting right now? Again, we're in a cluster, right? I would still call this a cluster. We got over these 2, which is nice to see. Look, this day broke 2 moving averages. Is this what I would call good confirmation? Not really, right? I really wish this was green. It obviously opened up here and closed down here. Some people did lose money, but what I care about, so this closed at 29488. We closed at 0.95. Okay, so we at least closed a couple cents above yesterday. That'll have me a little positive. Let's set an alert here. Let's see if Netflix can break that 300 line. Let me know if this line crosses. Beautiful, let me know that. Okay, again, it just has been really parabolic, like I said. It's at least been able to hold these important lines, right? Because we didn't lose the 200. That's big. We bounced on it there. We at least bounced on the 50. Kind of lost it, but then came back, right? So overall, not fantastic. That's not a great MACD, but it's closer to 0 than we saw in some other ones. This is a little bit better. 3 days of buying, but this is actually a downtrend in volume, right? Volume keeps going down, which I do not like. Netflix has me a little worried. I will be honest. Did we get over this day? That could be another interesting alert if you want to kind of make an extra $3 right there. If we can get over that 298 roughly, That might be a little, but again, that for me, I don't care about that $2. I'd love to break this and hey, maybe make our way up there or like to roughly here or here, right? There's a nicer dollar movement than that too. But again, whatever your game is, right? Netflix, not as good. Okay, and again, right, you can see it. We've been under the 8, over the 8, under the 8, and again under the 8, right? I'm happy we're over the 50. That's for sure, right? Because we broke the 50. We still haven't even needed to use the 50 or the 20 as a bounce point yet, right? So overall, Netflix has actually been doing really well for a number of weeks. And I imagine that's, yeah, like, right, this thing crashed pretty hard and then just kind of made its way back up, right? But where are we at right now? That's good enough zoom. Are we going to break this 50 and move on up? You know, I think a lot is going to be on this 300 line that we did just set an alert for. Because again, if we can get over this and really just these two candles, we've completed the entire gap fill, right? So, and then there's another one right here if we can get over this, right? But there's 2 moving averages right there. So that one might be a little hard. But yeah, this thing is pretty much filled, but there's still another 10% easy to make if we can break that 300 line. So yeah, interesting. We have one more. This has been a really mixed bag of FAANG, and then we obviously have our blue chips underneath that, right? But okay, this looks a lot like, what was it? A lot like Amazon, right? Let me just kind of flash Amazon, and then let me go back to GOOG. Okay, couple immediate things I saw, right? Bunch of days under the 8. We actually go above it, but I don't think we go above it on this day. Yeah, we don't, right? We close at 73 and the moving average is at 75. Again, we get a doji, a little bit leaning on the bottom side, right? Some people definitely thought it was going to go to the 8, to the 20. Some people thought it was barely going to stay over, but at least it would have stayed over the 8, even on the low side. And then it closed here. I do want to set an alert. Oh, hold on, give me a second. What's the top of this one? Oh, that's a beautiful number, actually. I'll set it right there exactly at. So the top of this one was 25. I'll set it at 26. Let me know if we break 26. Because if we break this, there's a real good reason to believe we'll actually come here again. And then if we can break this, I can actually see us coming to here. Right? And hey, at that point, if you're here, you might even just hit the 50 and call it a day, right? So there's a couple interesting movements that would happen if we get over this. So overall, in my opinion on FAANG, look, Meta was the best in the bunch, okay? Meta had great MACD, RSI, and volume. Apple was horrible, right? It was Apple that was horrible, right? One more time. Yes, Apple was just horrible. And it's not good that this one's, look, they're not necessarily in order, right? I think Apple still has the biggest market value. I don't know fundamentals well enough, but Apple's not, just alone saying Apple is bad carries a lot of weight, right? If the other 4 were great and Apple was bad, I would still be a little, hey, what's going on here, right? So nonetheless, a very mixed bag. Amazon, Netflix, and Google all have these interesting plays, but none of them, did we look at the Google Weekly? We did not look at the Google Weekly. None of them looked sustainable because of the weekly, right? And what are we looking at here? We're looking at losing the 200. Losing the 200 on the weekly is a really bad thing. Look, I'm going to jump to it because it's the one that jumps out the quickest. Tesla just lost the 200 on the weekly, okay? And you can see this one's a lot more devastating than Goog's, right? Goog is at least kind of, we'll call it horizontal, right? But yeah, if we lose this line especially, that's going to be really scary. Because, I mean, at this point, we're well under the 200, a number of weeks over, a number of weeks under the 8. I know this upward curve is there, but it's not a pretty one, right? I wish there was at least a sprinkle of green in that thing, right? So this is not a good weekly. All the other ones were not good weeklies, except Meta a little bit, right? So yeah, FAANG, very, very mixed bag. So we're now coming into the blue chips, right? Starting with Boeing. And Boeing has continued to do its magic. Man, on the last video, I said I regret not taking my advice. On this video, I'm going to once again say I regret not taking my advice because I swear I had no idea that this thing was still going up. And look, if we can get over this, there's still a lot of reason to believe it'll keep going. So I want to set an alert this time. I'm going to zoom out a bit, but just let's talk about a couple things down here real quick before I zoom out. MACD is ready to, I mean, again, I don't want to necessarily say it is, right? But it's been a lot of down and we have a good chance of getting over the red right there. This is pretty tight, don't get me wrong, but it's only at 60. So if it wanted to keep going up, it could keep going up for sure. Even if it goes slow and steady, whatever, there's still almost, 10, 15 more points it can go up, right? And look, this is what we haven't seen on any of them yet. This one did break the 50 moving average in volume, and it was a good buy, followed by not only a couple days of buy, but really a bunch of days of buy over the last few, right? I still think there's a lot of reason to believe that this might keep going. I've regretted not taking my advice for a few weeks. And just look, where are we, right? We're trading over all 5 of the moving averages. And it's not a hard one, but this is a downtrend that could fill. Again, even if it's slow and steady, there is now some sincere reason to believe if we break 199, we're coming up to 231. And again, we've seen these 10% channels kind of forming on a couple of these stocks, right? So just look at that. How do you can't scream sustained trading better than this. Sustained trading. I don't know if I said that well or not. And look, it seems like we're about to break the 100. However, this weekly RSI is really high. So I don't know if, it actually will keep going. Maybe this will be a bit of a top and it'll come back down. This weekly has me a little bit intrigued. I'll be real honest, but that's a real high RSI. But again, it still looks like there's a lot of reason to believe this is still going up and this is still kind of stalling. But volume has been going down. Maybe this will help catch it up. Interesting. That high RSI has me curious, but yeah, beautiful, right? I sincerely regret not trading this. That's sad. Boeing, this daily looks good. The weekly just has me a little worried. Like I said, a 92 rating is one of the highest ones I think we've seen since I've been making these videos. So things need to cool down. That's all I'm really stressing. And hitting this and coming down kind of makes sense as a place where that might happen. Hey, maybe it'll be this 199 number because 200 is a pretty natural, hey, I've made a nice from 130 to 200, maybe do some selling, just kind of psychology-ish, I guess, right there. But yeah, interesting. 91 RSI on the weekly has me a little disheartened for what looked like a beautiful daily chart, actually. Disney, okay, this is another one, and I'll say I think this one looks better than the Apple and Google dojis. Number one, this is actually a green candle still. This thing did close in the positive, even though it looks like this. This one is, I think, the tightest. I'm going to go this close in the zoom. Let's look at Apple. Oh, shit, sorry. Amazon. So Amazon has a little bit bigger of a body, but hey, actually did still close 2%. I think I missed that. This one, again, has a little bit of a body. Oh, wait, no, that shouldn't be in the... You opened up here and closed down here. Why are you saying... Yeah, this should have lost on the... Again, I don't put my money in this. You can see right here it says simulating buying power because there's just some things that are a little less than ideal on this system. This system is amazing for setting up your technicals. And like I said, I have the one chart that I use on this thing, right? So that is literally why I do this, but I don't move any money on this. And these little things like that bother me, right? But again, I was talking more about the body. I'm going to go back to Disney. This is the tightest of the bodies. And like I said, I like that it was 2% up. I actually didn't see that Amazon was 2% up, but closer to the 20 than the rest of them were as well. Didn't get over this line though, right? I'm going to set my alert for just over the 20. Yeah, 90.01. I like that a lot, actually. because where is the 20 actually at? Yeah, that's a few cents over, and then I like that. If we can get over 90.01, I would love to know, because yeah, there's definitely reason to believe we might come to this. That's a nice MACD, that's a nice RSI, and hey, looks like we're at least trying to, I wish the volume was a little better, I will say that, but I'm still okay with it. I would love to know if this happens. Disney, interesting. Okay, and look, Disney's had a decent fall too since since not that long ago. And I know they just brought back the CEO, and I don't necessarily care about stuff like that. I care about breaking some lines, right? So maybe an interesting setup, but look, not the best of weeklies. Maybe there's reason to believe we'll come up to 92.30, give or take, right? Or 92.18 is what it looks like it was at. Do we think that we're going to break the 8 and get to the 20? Maybe. All right, there might be a chance. That's a decent RSI, actually. Do I think we're going to get over the 20? I'm not too sure. Maybe we'll get a little close to 100. But hey, it'd be a nice move if we do. But yeah, I don't know if we're exactly there, right? Because yeah, that was the little fake test. This was kind of one. You can almost do that 1, 2, 3 that I mentioned earlier. But I'm not trying to squeeze that in. But yeah, there was one thing there. It was a little bit there, and it kind of seems like we're going back to testing the 8 again versus that. So yeah, I don't know if we'll break this. I think coming to this seems a little more realistic. Hey, maybe we'll come as high. Yeah, that actually brings us back to the 98. So maybe there's a little bit of a nicer swing there. So watch that. Yeah, and that'll pretty much take us to here, give or take. Maybe you can make 95 as a decent target. Either way, I'd like to know if we break 90, take it to 95, decent 5% right there, right? WMT, Walmart, and then we got one more after this. Okay, Walmart's trying to make its first attempt at actually getting over the 8 in quite a while, actually. That was a nice candle, too. I do like that candle. Not a beautiful MACD or RSI, but hey, volume seems to be going up, and I'll take, actually, since the 19th, there's definitely been more buying than selling, right? So where are we compared to that? Yeah, we're not quite over that. It tried to wick that. But yeah, I'll set an alert right there. If we can get over that, there might be reason to believe we'll come to this. Do I think we'll break these two? Okay, obviously I always say it, right? It's really hard to break two. I think there's a maybe here, because if you can break this guy right here, right, which is just under those two, there's a decent fill that might take you to roughly here, right? So I could see, like, let's just round up to 140, 147. I could see 147 getting tested, And again, red. I know this is right here, right? But you can pretty much go red to here, right? So there is a bit of a gap fill minus this little anomaly right here, right? So a couple ways to look at the chart to maybe set some expectations, either here, or on the high side all the way up here, right, to the bottom of that candle, just over that 150. So Walmart's interesting. Did I set the alert? I think I did. I think I set it to right there. I'm like 90% I did. If not, I'm going to regret that tomorrow morning or next week when I see this chart, one of the two. Again, I think we just talked about 150. I think 147 seems pretty realistic because, look, beautiful rise, beautiful break. Starting to definitely lose the 8, but look, when you have 3, it's that much harder to break, right? And you have pretty much a cluster right there with 1 right below it, right? So, this makes sense. And look, this went pretty horizontal before breaking, so it kind of makes sense that this is horizontal, right? Maybe we'll come down to 140, but again, I still think there's a little bit of reason to believe here that we might do this 147, maybe even 150 test that we talked about from the daily. Because, yeah, not a bad MACD, not a bad RSI. I just wish volume was a little higher, right? But, hey, early in the week, right? That's kind of why this one is so low, early in the week. So it's also New Year and all that sort of stuff. It was an interesting market, to say the least, on how it opened. All right, last but by no means least is Microsoft, okay? Where are we? We're actually talking about what we just did, right? It's hard to break 2 lines. Simple as that, right? This one tried to break 2. Definitely not a great confirmation candle behind it. Wanted to open up here, but unfortunately it closed down here, which is even below this one. So this one closed at 23982. And yeah, this one closed obviously under 8.2, right? So I don't like that. We've actually been closing lower each 3 days, right? Kind of seems like this 50 didn't happen. All 3 days, though, were over the 8 moving average. Maybe the 8 can be a bouncing point because, again, we still need confirmation to show that, we're at least under the 8, let alone, yeah, well, now we've been 2 days under the 50, so 50's kind of lost at least. But hey, maybe the 8 will give us one more try at retaking that. Definitely don't like the RSI. Definitely real bad volume. This one's not one you're even going to see me send an alert on because, again, we've seen a bunch of other tickers that were better than this one. But I think it all will really matter if we can. I'll set an alert up here. All right. If we can get, yep, I'll say okay. If we can get over here, there's definitely a number of dollars that look like would fill easy there, right? And that's what I would call some safer trading versus, trying to mess with these guys here. So, hey, sincerely appreciate your time if you made it all the way to the end here. Interesting start to the year. Like I said, I'll make a Dow Jones video, their major market video one of these next days. But yeah, hopefully this year brings us green. I'll say that much, right? That was really cheesy to end with. I apologize. Have a great one.